He's Johnny Deep, which is
It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined this week by Pete, a very pirate-looking Dave, and Ditan's Flash, aka Paul Dargan, or is it the other way around?
Yeah, whichever way you want, really. To be fair.
Yeah.
No one cares about either of them, so it doesn't matter.
Dave, do you want to explain your pirate rig out for anyone who's listening, not watching?
I think I've just got controller like Windows 95 or something, and I've just started playing with stuff, but I'm not sure how I'll take this off now. I'm being serious. How's he taking it off?
Do you ever remember
just
that
leave it
fella
on.
who got interviewed like an accountant or something, or it was a job interview, and like he kept changing filters and he couldn't do it, and it went viral.
Do you know what you've just reminded me of? Do you know what you've just reminded me of there? The fella that you seen that fella on the, you'll all remember this, the fella on the BBC who came in and he put him live in the studio, but he was only going in there for a job as a cleaner or something like that.
And they asked him some heavyweight questions.
He's now got his own show on GB News now.
He did a good job though, to be fair. Probably be leading the BBC by now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Right, lads, we'll kick off with the questions. Let's start with the hot topic. Everton Big Brother, who's in the house? So obviously, Celebrity Big Brother's just started. Absolutely no interest in it, but it seemed like a good question. So I'll give you a couple of ideas first. So Gary said, all our permanent managers since Moyes, which is a great shout. Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to work out what the fuck's been going on since. So his list of people to go into the Big Brother house is Martinez, Koeman, Allardyce, Silva, Ancelotti, Lampard, Dyche. No Benitez, though. That's a good lineup, that, isn't it?
Will Koeman find the house, though? Because he'll go to 3 different number 10s. Hey.
If it's in Ellesmere Port, he'll know where to go. Do you know what? I think out of them, Allardyce is the shout for me. He'd cause absolute chaos. Dave's now upside down on the screen and blurred. So
I'm genuinely can't get rid of this, you know.
Pete, he's gone.
I'm trying to get it off and back on. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, go on. Sorry, I'm spoiling the
Pete,
quiz.
who's in your Big Brother house?
Yeah, I think Allardyce would be good television. I think as much as I didn't want him to be Everton manager, I think he'd make a good show. I think Marco Silva would bore me to death because he just always came across as the most boring man imaginable. Just sat there on the touchline or stood there on the touchline with his hands in his pockets. Who else would be good? I think you've always got to go back to like the likes of Gaza as well, haven't you? Gaza would be good, although probably quite sad right now. So maybe not Gaza. David Ginola, maybe.
Yeah, I reckon.
Jill Scott as well. Got to throw Jill Scott in there, former Everton player, captain Jill Scott. You know, she won I'm a Celebrity. I think she'd do a decent job in there as well. It's a shame, really, though, isn't it? Because with Big Brother, you don't have the optional torture that I'm a Celebrity offers. Do you know what I mean? Where you can
there are a few of those games, aren't there? They play games on it and all that.
But we don't get to vote for it, do we? So it's not like we could deliberately set someone up to I don't know, eat a kangaroo's testicle or something. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or to go into some full-on torture.
I haven't watched it yet. We watched. Haley likes it a little bit, just the start of it to see who's on it, and Sharon Osbourne went on to it with Louis Walsh. And then that was it, really. I didn't have a fucking clue who else was on there. Chris Maloney walked on or something, did he? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen a minute of it.
We are live Big Brother house. Please do not say fuck or bugger.
Oh, did anyone... hang on. Did anyone get an idea of who the presenters were? Never seen them before in my life.
I haven't.
Google who they are. I couldn't tell you who they are.
No idea.
Do you used to watch it when you were a kid, though? You know,
I watched the first series. I wasn't a kid then, Dave.
No, same here, Dave. You weren't older than you remember.
Who's the fella who won it as well? Craig Phillips.
He won the very first one. Craig Phillips.
I've got his number here. Get him on.
There's my impression for later on. Craig.
Remember
the house they actually stayed in looked like a cracker in the first one.
Yeah. Do you know what else as well?
It was.
Do you remember how...
actual crack then, no?
Because it was the first time that anyone had ever done anything like that as well. Do you remember the absolute scandal that Nick one wrote down a couple of names on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Nasty Nick.
Yeah.
In retrospect, that was probably an overreaction from the nation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Fellas getting death threats.
Someone writing pieces of paper.
Like,
lad's
trying to win a game.
Lad's life was destroyed. They were writing some names on a piece of paper.
Literally, and it was a game. Like at the end of the day, it was literally just a game show. And it was like, well, he wanted to win, but he was like front page of every paper.
Didn't he get
like
kicked out and get hounded by the papers and stuff?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he still does. Apparently, think a few newspapers still go after him and all that.
Dave, I like that product placement you've got there. Dave's put a Luke.
I didn't even put it on there in that way.
Lucas pink lemonade bottle just in shot on the screen there, like a nice
anti-Cristiano Ronaldo interview, isn't it? Where he moved the cans of Coke and then put water in. Dave's putting all kinds of stuff in.
Right, this Everton Big Brother host then. We've got Sam Allardyce. Got to put Jordan Pickford in there because he gets in everything.
Yeah,
got to.
I was thinking about someone who's completely gone.
What? This is to get in Big Brother, is it?
Oh, shut up, Dave.
Toffee Nose said Van den Houw, Van der Meijden, Drenthe and Big Nev. 4 amazing shouts. I think I'd throw Sheedy and Keown in there as well. Bit of light entertainment there.
Xavier, throw Xavier in as well. Xavier for just this, just fucking us off, going to Liverpool and then scoring on his debut or something.
Neil Maupay would probably be good, although he's a massive shit house.
Yeah,
but he'd probably be a really good contestant on Big Brother. Just
by the way, there's no way he's French, is there?
No.
That is not a French accent at all, and he's called Neil.
He's like Julio Jordio, isn't he?
Can we throw Baxendale in?
Yeah, and the Phantom Headlocker could be revealed at the end of the series. Or the lights go out and the Phantom Headlocker comes in.
No, you need to vote who you think it is.
Yeah.
They get eliminated.
It's like the Traitors. It's turning into Traitors stroke Big Brother, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah.
But Elston would go in for me as well.
To be fair, I think Maggie asked that ages ago and we never answered it. So let's just go on that one as well then.
What's that?
Everton Traitors.
Everton Traitors.
So yeah.
Well,
it's basically who is the Phantom Headlocker?
Robert Elston. He came in looking like me with a hat on. You couldn't work out who he was. With a hat and glasses on. No one knew who he was.
Keith Wine's in there as well.
Yeah.
Ian Ross.
You have to park his boat there at the side of the... Is there anywhere to park a boat? Just like people who won on Bullseye and live in Birmingham.
Did anyone ever actually win the boat though?
Just jumping in.
Well, it was alleged that they won it, wasn't it? You never saw it. Like you never saw them. Like here's a catch up with last season's winners, booting it into the Stanley Park Lake.
Liam Fitzpatrick also said Sean Dyche, Ian Wone, and Steve Stone, so we can have a go on Saturday.
Ooh,
bit of shade thrown, shots fired there. I think.
Well, because of shit.
Basically, yeah.
Just because of shit. Steve Stone, Steve Round in there as well.
Oh God, Steve Round in his headset.
Were we talking about this the other day? I'm sure we were. I can't remember what podcast it was where we were talking about Steve Round. No, I think it was me. We were talking, Les, weren't we?
Oh,
about no, when we were playing United. Was it you?
Nah, wasn't me.
I don't know. It might have been Paul and Warren. And we were talking about like times when we've had a mad one against Man United at home. It was you.
Oh, it was. We didn't mention Steve Round, did we?
Yeah, I said, do you remember when we scored those 2 goals really late on and Arteta scores one that deflected?
And he got... Yeah.
And I said, they blew the whistle when we were on the attack.
Yeah.
And Boys and Steve Rahm ran on, and it just looked like Steve Rahm was like his little assistant, like assistant manager in school or something, just copying everything he did. You're like looking at him saying, what are you doing there, Steve? You're making a dickhead out of yourself. You shite him.
Like Bradley Walsh from Mike Bassett, isn't it? Where he's basically doing Phil Neal from the Graham Taylor documentary. He just repeats everything that he says.
Christ, Phil Neal.
Who's that fella the Newcastle assistant manager?
Jason
Tyndall.
He's
Yeah.
the worst for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
Wasn't he a
tell you
rugby
what,
player?
mate. I've got his
Yes,
number
he is
now
as well. And Mike Tyndall, you're thinking of.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
He's also not married to one of the royal family.
Oh, was that him? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it not
Yeah.
Jason? Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Mike. What's his name?
Mike
Jason
Tyndall, the
Tyndall.
rugby player.
Jason Tyndall, yeah.
Jason, am I right? Jason Tyndall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Jason
right.
Tyndall,
Yeah.
Looks like he lives on the beds.
Yeah. Well, him and Ben White, innit?
Ben White.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ben
they
White.
look like each other, don't they?
Ben White defo gets tan jobs.
Yeah.
Definitely does tan jobs.
Tan Job, that sounds like a shop on like Breck Road or something. By Fantastic or whatever, wherever that was.
And you will
Tan
never be
jobs.
Boss Tans.
Tannerreef.
Boss Tans was the one.
I'm sure
on the
one
way
of
to
them
the
must be
ground.
called Tannereef, you know.
No, it is. There is one called Tannerreef somewhere. Tannerreef. And what was the... And Fantastic, yeah.
Right, on that subject, someone else who loves to hit the beds is Liam. And he's asked which Everton players, past or present, are most likely to get involved in a Rula Lenska George Galloway moment. It's got to be Steve Round and David Moyes on it.
I was going to say Steve Round again, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
all
else do we have?
all
Oh, no.
Moyes
Lewis
and like Phil Neville.
Beaumorte.
And Ferguson.
Phil Neville and Moyes, yeah, that's a shout.
Luis Beaumorte.
And Marco Silva.
Yeah, and Marco Silva, yeah. Didn't Luis Beaumorte, we had some sort of issue with him, didn't we?
No,
Every time
remember
we
because
played, yeah, we used to fight them all the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Ferguson had a big kickoff with him, didn't he? When they were
Wasn't it?
players.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And then he ended
And
up...
Davy Weir.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think
Paul, you had some good answers to this.
What's that?
You had some good answers to this question.
Oh, I said Brendan Galloway.
Brendan Galloway, yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron.
and Aaron Lenonska.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Or, best one.
Oh, Harry Catterick. I couldn't think of anyone else, actually.
Per Crowdrop.
Yeah. Yes.
Or Duncan Ferguson and Alessandro Castoni.
Stoney.
There you
Stoney
go.
looked like a cat.
Captain Jack Sparrow, him, wasn't he? Eh?
Like you before.
I think he goes the same Tanneristic. What was it called? The Beds place.
Tanneristic.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah, Tanneristic with the. I remember Pistoni's goal. Actually, he scored one goal for us, and it was against Bolton.
Didn't he used to play right back? Sorry, for Liverpool. Oh, that was Nicky Tanner. Carry on.
Yeah, no. So he had a shot with his left foot. His left footed player allegedly, and he had a shot from about 30 yards. No idea why, because we were that crap. And it's like, I don't know, who's playing centre out, like Ivan Campo or something like that. Come back to him, and everyone's fuming that he had a strike with his strong foot. So he just like throws his right foot at it, and it goes to the top corner. And everyone's looking at him like, that can't be real, man. He looked more surprised than anyone else when he pinged it in.
It's a simulation.
It was a Parkin, that wasn't it? Yeah, remember
Yeah.
that?
I don't mind Pistone. I thought he was all right when he weren't playing.
That's another thing I have no recollection of.
Les was still booing. He was still booing the first shot. That's why
Probably was actually, yeah. I genuinely think the problem is we turned up to every game bladdered.
Yeah.
Like we would be those knobheads. Excuse me. At 3:10, and then excuse me. At 4:25. We were those dickheads. So yeah, apologies to people who were in. Was it PE 1 or 2? The one over by the aways, anyway. Yeah, apologies to everyone there. That was us. Davy Mace, how do you explain déjà vu? I think he's asked that question before.
Yeah, we got déjà vu because he's asking a question about déjà vu.
I like it. Keep it coming, Davey. We will keep asking it. Some Everton chat. Stephen has asked, if the last two games finished at 90 minutes, we would have had 4 points instead of 1. Do you think it's mentality, tiredness, or tactical sitting back for too long without making subs?
Subs definitely is up there.
Yeah.
He's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot with not making subs. I've been working it out. I said the other day, 74 minutes is the average when he makes a first sub in a match. That's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
Considering how many games you've lost. 74 minutes.
Moyes used to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, Moyes.
The thing
Oh,
is,
that Dillard and Dave, wasn't he? There's
Yeah,
nicknames and everything.
you've got it.
Shite Sean's the one for me.
I mean, the state of the way we've been playing at times, there should have been subs at half time.
Yeah.
But you just know he's not going to do that.
No, the only argument people go immediately to if they're supporting him or like you want to take his defence is the fact we've got no one decent on the bench. But you still change it even for the sake of it. If you're getting beat, just change it. Do you know what I mean? He's the first ones to go to Dobbin. Kid there on the bench who's aching to get on the pitch and show what he can do. You take off a Harrison or McNeil when he's playing shite. Do you know what I mean? At least give these. I know. No, he admitted it the other day. Though he finally admitted it the other day. Why don't you just make a change? You've got to make some sort of change. Do you know what I mean? Gomez, come on, didn't he last week?
He's injured again, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah, he's back injured again.
You're joking.
Yeah. But yeah, do you agree with me though? You've got to make a change on 70.
Yeah, I think so. And
you know,
yeah, I think, and if you look at the teams we played, you know, a lot of them are making subs on about 60, which is about right, isn't it? Once you get to an hour when players start getting tired. Now, Paul, what do you reckon on this?
Yeah, I agree. That's why we always, and it always seems to be the same subs that he makes as well, to be fair. So Dobbin never comes on. I'm not saying that, you know, he's very good enough, whatever, but he can't be any worse, can he, in those wide areas? Harrison's one of the most one-footed players I've ever seen. And McNeil always looks like he's knackered after about 5 minutes. And this isn't having a go. But if you're not switching it up and those players feel like they're comfortable and they're not going to be dropped or they're going to get as much time to, you know, it only takes a second to score a goal. We know this and all those cliches. But if you get into 74 minutes and you haven't scored a goal, surely you'd have to change it in some way. And I'm not even joking. People keep saying round by me now, and I've got no problem with this. Just get Michael Keane on up front. He's probably the best striking of a ball at the club. And
you said that a lot, Les. Yeah.
I didn't know you'd said that, Les.
Been saying this for ages.
Yeah.
Well,
look at that goal against Tottenham, the penalty.
Shamiti's sitting there as well. Signed in for. What have you signed in for?
Yeah.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he was what, 50? Is he 15 million? Now,
I can't even remember.
We've probably not paid a penny of that yet.
No.
But
we got him on the gyro, didn't we?
Yeah.
If you're spending 15 million in the position we're in,
Rob,
yeah,
you've got to come in, haven't you? You've got to be ready to come in at some point. Pete, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the other thing about it as well is now we've got 5 subs. People, you know, teams are allowed 5 subs. Yeah. So realistically, you're changing like 50% of your outfield players. If we're sat there not changing anyone, then half of their team is fresher than than ours. So I do think that we've got to start making more changes, and Dobbin is the obvious one. Dan Human as well when he gets back. But I mean, the other thing as well is that it's like, I hate to bring them up, but even when you look across, across the park to that shower, to be fair to them, one thing that they can do and have constantly done and have proven again this season is that they can develop young players, and they're not afraid to just throw them in and give them a chance. Now, I know it's easier in a sense because you're looking at the players who they're surrounded by, and they're obviously full of top players. But when you look at like the way they performed at Wembley, there was loads of them in that side. A good number of young kids who were thrown in under big pressure. And I just think, the likes of Lewis Dobbin, the likes of Shimity, why not just give them a chance? Throw them in. Look at Jared Brantwaite, for example. We started the season off, and he wasn't getting a look in Jared Brantwaite. It took a few games for him to actually get, to nail down his place. Yeah. But you've got to give these kids the experience to be able to move, to be able to push on. Like Shimity, I don't understand what more he could be doing in terms of he's scoring every week for the under-21s. He looks like he's ready. He's obviously going to be hungry. At this stage, we need some kind of spark, and I think one of the young kids or a couple of the young kids could provide that. So, that's my thoughts.
It gets me what mustn't or must be going on at training there. You get that squad of 20-odd lads going on the pitch there. You're playing, 10 aside, even 11 aside between them for an hour after they've been running around the pitch and whatnot. You imagine, like, mentally, if you're one of those young lads or somebody who hasn't got a game, like Shimity, for example, you've brought this lad in who's meant to be a talented young player, and he gets 5-10 minutes on it. I can't recall him coming onto the pitch with longer than 15 on, to say, this season. He's playing in training. Do you think he's motivated to give a shit at the end of the day? when he's first come in, I bet he's been running his bollocks off. Like other players there, other kids there, Dobbin as well. Screaming, saying, I want to go. Like going up, knocking at the manager's door, saying, look, I want to go here. What's going on? And whilst I have while I have sympathy for Dyche in the squad that he's got, you'll have kids there. I mean, I'd be fuming with those players if they hadn't been doing that, screaming to get a game. Because it shows you everything you need. Do you know what I mean? And I've repeated this a couple of times, but with Dobbin as well, when he come on and scored that goal against Chelsea, you imagine him the next day, and when he walks back into work, you think about he's 10 feet tall, running around his house, screaming his head off, telling all his mates, repeating the goal about 1 million times on his phone and sending it round on his WhatsApp with all the porn. He should be on the pitch. Get him on the pitch as soon as you can, because he's going to be flying. Unlike Harrison there, he'll run his bollocks off but barely kick the ball properly. Just get the lad on, give it a go, especially at home when we've been crap.
It must be worse as well, though, for the player to come from, so far away. And he's got to be thinking, why have I bothered making this journey? Unless they said to him, listen, we don't think you're ready, but, whatever, it's a development transfer. And maybe that's what it is. This isn't what Everton need at the moment. We wouldn't be crying, well, not crying, but you know what I mean? We're crying out for it. We wouldn't be desperate or looking for an answer if we were quite fairly comfortable in 10th or something with this squad. But then people, how Everton fans are all the time. If this squad was 10th and overachieving massively, as you can see, people would be going, why didn't we go out in January and get another player and we could have been in Europe? Because we get beat about 100-0 by Sparta Prague, who Liverpool beat 5-1 last night. That's why. About expectation in it. But again, exactly what Peter said, I've been saying this, and I know quite a few people have, and it's not trying to point the finger at Unsworth or anyone in the past who's had the youth side. How do you go that far away from, like, pretty much the last actual youth product being, I think, I might be wrong here, but is it Barkley, really, who's actually shone?
Yeah. Gordon, probably, innit?
Well, Gordon, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, yeah. And I blocked him out. That's why I forgot he existed. But totally agree with Pete with that. And obviously as well with Dave.
Just quickly, an interesting one on the sort of youth development side of things. Liverpool did buy those players in. Sort of.
That shows you how good the academy is, though, Les, doesn't it?
Well, so
it's a mini version of recruitment, isn't it? It's like the second. And the other thing I was going to ask there, sorry to interrupt, was why aren't these lads, if they're not getting a game, do you see them in the 23s at all? So they're not actually playing football at all every week, are they? Like competitive football. So what's the point?
Yeah, but that's it. Everton don't appear. I mean, I know everything's sort of turned to shit the last few years, but the academy definitely has, hasn't it? That's clearly had no investment at all, because we should be going out and trying to tap these players that, like, even the likes of Liverpool are getting, because at that point, you've still got the pull that they could think, well, I'm more likely to get into the team there because they're a bit shit. That thought process would be there as a young player, as going to Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, potentially getting swallowed up because, bigger players than like 16-year-old kids have been swallowed up at those clubs.
Yeah,
they will look at clubs like Everton, sort of like, mid-lower table clubs, and think, well, that might be a good prospect for them to develop, but they won't be because there's no development at the club now.
This is an incredible, I'd say this is a really good point you're making there. I've mentioned it a couple of times, just sort of quite quietly, to be honest with you, but it's something I'm going to start doing with our podcasts, is having a look at the catchment area that we have, where we are in and around our city. Because I'm telling you right now, and you do this thing yourself, Les, coaching young players and things like that, there must be thousands of young lads there who've got the potential to come through as a professional footballer.
Absolutely.
And you've got the problem, like somebody was telling me on their side of the view, was you've got 4 clubs in the Northwest, the main 4 that we all know, 2 down the 62 and the 2 round here. And they're saying, oh, well, obviously they're gonna go City first, Liverpool second, United third, and then they look at us as like well down the line. They're only going to join Everton. Now that isn't true. That is not true, because that's why in the past, when we've still been crap for decades, we'd still have a really impressive academy, and that is about leading a pathway for these kids to actually have a go of it. Whereas let's face it, you look at, if you're at Manchester City, look at Cole Palmer. who I think's brilliant. I think he's going to be close to being a top class. He's going to be a world class player. That lad, you look what he's doing at Chelsea. He's had some bottle to go down there, by the way. He goes down to Chelsea. He's a kid that's gone through the City academy, but he's not getting a chance at City. So if you look at that as a young player, if you just had a little bit of an insight over the way the career is going to go, you'd think Everton's probably the best place they're going to be originally because they'll get a game. Like you mentioned, Brantwaite, you sign him, he goes on loan, comes back in. He's Everton's best centre-half within a couple of years. Why is that not an idea that anybody's thinking of? And like you say, used to be really proud of our academy. They used to, what was it? We won the under 18s, was it, when we had John Joe Kenny as the captain and all that? Yeah. I'm not saying he's an example of a good player, but you know, the sort of we had a real good sort of system with everybody. Then it's gone out the window really, and I'm saying it's not easy, but surely you get the right scouts going about town, Liverpool, in and around, you know, the Northwest, and saying, yeah, lads, we'll just put a little bit of extra effort into this, and I reckon you get some little gems coming through there. Well, and at the very least, you get the funds back from it. Look at Gordon. Yeah, Gordon's a prime example of that. You get someone through an academy, you put him through, he's got a load of talent, and you'll just get a big fish coming in and saying, I'll give you 30, 40 million for him. There's the revenue you need, and that's when we're not sitting there looking like we're going to get relegated based on minus points. It all ties together, doesn't it? Just do something fucking properly.
I was just going to say quickly, sorry, the process usually going through Everton, and if you don't have a pathway to the first team, they will always demonstrate to parents and the kids themselves that you will have more chance of becoming a footballer as a profession by going through Everton's academy. And
that's a great point.
When I used to work, you know, I worked at the club, and I remember Martin Waldron, like, speaking to him, weirdly enough, we were out in Minsk for that Borisov game, and we were waiting in the airport to come back home. I was just speaking to him for quite a bit, and he was saying, you know, we're proud of the fact that just because those players don't end up in the Everton academy, because if you remember in the second game, the last group game, it's then with the 7 or 9 academy products in that squad altogether. And which is weird, because he said this was like the 1st of October when we played the first game out there. And I remember him just saying, the way that we operate is we like to be able to, or be proud that we can give, you know, kids the actual potential and realism of saying, this is my job, this is going to pay for my mortgage, my family, and everything like that. It's not about trying to be the next Wayne Rooney or whoever it is. It's about saying, you know, I'm going to actually be able to make something of my life within the game from the age of 8 to 14, 15. And then if they go elsewhere, because because it can be anything, they've all got talent to be at, you know, at that level at some point, haven't they? But sometimes it comes down to attitude, it comes down to whatever it is, you know, the outside influence and things like that. But I've always been quite proud of that.
It's not just
Baines still down there. Is Baines? Where's Baines? Is he doing the under 18s?
18s, I think. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, what's the remit on this job? Do you think when he's joined the club and he's got Thelwell coming up to him saying, right, we need you to do this, 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 and this, Leighton? I mean, he's an Everton legend that he goes in there. I think there's an issue in and around that anyway. The fact that he's an Everton legend that these kids are rocking up to. Yeah. You know, there'll be a certain point when they're in their starting process where they're like, fucking hell, it's Leighton Baines. Do you know what I mean? But the pressure that's on his shoulders, because you'd think as an Everton legend, he should automatically and easily be being able to go and get a load of brilliant left-footed players who can take free kicks. Do you know what I'm exaggerating there? But do you understand what I'm saying there? That you've got how impossible does it feel like his job is right now, given the fact we've got nobody coming through?
Yeah, it's madness.
Is it his job to do it? It's not his job at the under 18s, is it?
It's a collective, though, isn't it? And it's almost like that. People like that are figureheads in the way. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I mean, saying he has, you know, the foundation of his career to fall back on, whereas someone else...
Would they use that as a pull, though, Paul? That's the thing.
Of course they do. Yeah, that's right.
Do they? That's the thing. Are we able to go out there and say,
I don't know.
Right, you'll go into United, Liverpool. I'm sorry we're going on about this. It's meant to be having a laugh here, but you can go through City, United...
Put your Pirates that back on.
with no offence to who their academy guys are, you know, who are relatively, well, I certainly don't know or hear of them. I'm sure they're pretty well known by their fans and whatnot. But you know, if you've got a pull then, haven't you, to say, okay, yeah, this is Everton, yeah, you've got a much quicker pathway into being in and around the first team squad, or at least in and around the way in which it go, the 18s, the 21s, the 23s, and then, you know, you're getting in the squad. It's easier to sell that by saying you're going to be training with Leighton Baines than it is that you're going to be training for, you know, Jimmy, who ran the Dog and Duck up the road, who's now the coach. Do you know what I mean? At these places, at least, like you said there, Paul, you've got some sort of pull, haven't you, for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I just think that the way that like the academy's always worked there, and at United there were always the people who, I mean, it was Everton and United. When you go back through history, like the last 25 years, certainly the Premier League era, you look down players who were in most of the lower league sides, they usually come through either Everton or United, and United's always going to have that pull because, again, I think very quickly we were talking about catchment areas, and it was about 2000, 2001 or something like that when it was supposed to be a 90-minute zone, wasn't it? And then United got someone from a kid from Munich in a helicopter to Carrington in 90 minutes, and we're like, well, what's the point? What's the point of there's always going to be, a loophole, isn't there? Yeah.
Look at Chelsea. You know what I mean? Chelsea doing that now, aren't they?
Yeah.
8-year contract for babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So finally, just to answer Stephen's question, it's mentality tied and tactical. There we go. Right, like we've got 10 minutes left. Okay. I'm going to put a 5-minute time limit on this next question. That is from Gary. Right. And Dave, will come to you first. You've got 2.5 minutes. Okay. What's the worst Tim Howard fuck up in an Everton shirt? Not including the Wolves goal that's constantly being tweeted. Triggered, Dave, go.
2.5 hours. The worst he's done?
Yeah.
The FA Cup final, I've put that horrendous video out where everyone that I've seen has thankfully said he probably could have caught it. You know, probably could have had a bevy and then caught it. That was horrendous. That is one of the worst. And, you know, he's got away with it. He has got away with it because it was, 4 years after he joined us, 2009. And people have still maintained great goalkeeper, brilliant goalkeeper. And I've seen, a high percentage of people are still going to say that sort of thing. I don't think he was a good goalkeeper. I thought at best I'd say he was an average goalkeeper for me. You look at some of the headers that he made, the star jump nonce and all that sort of thing people would say about him. Let's be honest, that who put it in our WhatsApp group first of all, that one against Kevin Doyle, who scored for Wolves.
Oh God!
There's that I mentioned one the other day about when we were 2-0 up against Chelsea and he conceded one from Drogba, which was just basically hit over his head. Matt Taylor from Portsmouth scores from about 800 yards away, lobs him with it.
Kemba was the other star jump.
Don't get me wrong, people ask the question on his birthday, what's the best save you've seen? The one in which that sticks in my mind is when he saved a brilliant penalty away at Villa. We went on and won 2-0 there. Lukaku was in the gorgeous yellow kit with the blue shoulders. But, you know, I there's a few goalkeepers I put ahead of Tim Howard because he really did my head in.
1.5 minutes? Good going. I thought you'd be longer than that. That's right. Pete?
I can carry on if you want me to.
No, it's all right. I think I'll cover this.
I think that the day I realised that Tim Howard was an absolute catastrophe was in 2007, I think, against Blackburn, and we got beat 4-1. I think it was a cup game. We got beat 4-1, and if you look back at that game, I think Blackburn just decided to shoot on sight. It was that type of thing where, and it was the first time when I really realised that he was totally useless from shots outside the box. And one of them, the ball, I think it's the first goal. I think it's that Morton Gamps Pedersen has a shot that's bobbling towards the bottom corner. Somehow Tim Howard manages to jump past it, and it sort of hits him in the midriff and just spins out. And then I think Benny McCarthy or someone scores from the rebound. And I just remember thinking, and after that, I just remember Blackburn just peppering his goal with shots from any distance because they realised it. And from that day, he just, I just realised that's all you need to do. But again, I think he was helped a lot by the defenders that he had in front of him. Obviously, that's like any goalkeeper is. But he's obviously played what 400 odd games for us, so you got to show a bit of respect. But even at the same time, not for me.
No.
Just
You don't have to show him respect for 400 odd games when he's just being handed them. Who's the
Yeah, to be-
alternative? Robles, what, 2016 maybe? He starts getting a game ahead of him fucking off to Colorado Rapids. Do you know what I mean? And also, just to add before Paul's answer, the other one that was horrendous was when he fouls Kaut away at Liverpool. We were 1-0 up. He starts running away from goal and he decides to just run out and take his legs. That was horrendous, and we probably could have won at Anfield.
Paul.
Fuck you, Tim.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed your birthday.
Didn't he say he wanted Liverpool to win the league as well the other year?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
Champions League, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
One of them.
Yeah. Why do you want them to win anything?
Exactly.
I remember he had a mad one. We were 0-0 for ages with like a depleted side away at Stamford Bridge, and then they scored from like about 40 yards in the bottom corner. I can't think who it was. What was his name? Spanish.
Probably Lampard.
Pedro, was it?
Yeah,
Pedro.
I remember Pedro, little whippet.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only one I can think of.
Wright Phillips at 5'1" scores a header over him.
That's like making it sound like
Semi-finals of the League
Shilton.
Cup. Semi-finals of the World Cup. Semi-finals of the League Cup.
That's just made me think as well. Chelsea. Do you remember the one that was given to John Terry, but he punched it into his own net, where he dived out with Terry and actually somehow punched it past himself?
That one of the 3-3 ones. Yeah.
No, I think they won 1-0.
Oh, did they?
Oh, was that another 3-3?
3-3 went through his money, put us
2-3,
3-1 up or something, wasn't it?
Oh, that was
Winning
Barkley.
2-0.
Oh, not Barkley. Yeah, that was the offside one. This
was a different one where he somehow punched it in. The goal got given to John Terry, but when you watched it, he didn't touch it. Howard punched it past himself, which was some going.
Hang on. One more quickly. That save that people refer to when they're supporting him, that save against that Southampton one where he jumps up. Watch it again, right? The ball goes about 4 yards up in the air because he's in a shit position where if he just steps his foot over, he catches it. And we go on the counter attack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a great save at all. It's like an actor, who wants to portray themselves as something that they're not. Do you know what I mean? He stands there waiting for someone to say, "Oh, just do it so I can show off." Do you know what I mean? Who was it? Rodriguez, was it?
I think it was a decent recovery, but absolutely
no, it wasn't.
Terrible.
Fucking dive over.
Right.
It's always
Just
like
finish on
the
that. Sorry, Paul,
Weetabix
go on.
one. No, I was just going to say, do you ever remember the fancy football one where Frank Skinner talking about the kid on the advert in the 1970s or 80s, the Weetabix one, and he dives over the ball, and then he's saying that Taibbi, they were trying to do it like Phoenix,
wow.
but that went through his legs. Yeah, sorry, Weetabix dive.
Hang on, Moyes' fault then, are we saying too?
Martinez's fault for me.
Martinez?
For playing him for so long. But yeah, maybe going back to Moyes.
Yeah.
Some from Gary then. He said, Anfield giving away the penalty. Blackburn opening day of the season when he just throws it into the box. Kalinic scored. Arsenal away 2015 when he punched there and Koscielny scores. Oh God, he dived out like Superman, didn't he?
Oh my.
Do you remember? It was like a spot the ball competition. He was jumping out like Superman. The ball's behind him. Sunderland gives away. Gary's as bad as you, Dave. Sunderland gives away a penalty to get sent off and kills our title charge of 13-14. Also, shout out to the Jags derby when Gerrard is lining up his free kick. Yeah. I'm screaming in the away end for him to get over as it's obvious where Gerrard is going to hit the ball. Next thing, 1-0 to the Lovables. There we go. That was 7 minutes of Tim Howard chat. So we'll end it there.
Not long enough.
Couple to finish because I'm actually going to get dragged back to work at 5 o'clock. Hope no one from work listens to this. I don't think they do.
Tim Howard's listening.
Steven, what's the strangest skill you have? He is double jointed, so can bend his thumb back to his arm.
Trombone. I can play trombone.
Oh God, yeah. Pete,
I can voluntarily move my There's like a thing in your ear. I think it's called like tensor tympani or something like that. It's like a muscle in your ear, and I can voluntarily move that. And basically, all it does is you can retract it, and everything goes really loud in your ears. So You can hum. It's a weird. I didn't realize for years that not everyone can do it. Put it that way, but Google it. Tensor timpani, like voluntary movement of the tensor timpani.
Is that Tim Howard's Latin name?
I thought
It's about as useful. It's my superpower. I'm basically one of the X-Men, but like.
But at times you can just hear dead well.
Is this where you can actually you can stop something, like you can put like a sound over something so it dumbs it out?
Yeah.
I honestly think I can do that. You know, like I'm doing it right now, and I can't fully hear what you're saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. You can do it. It's like you could
like a rumble.
Like clip. Yeah, you clip your ears, and it basically covers your. It's like putting your fingers in your ears. But
but no one knows.
But the best thing is, right, when I do it, I can hum to myself, and it means I can black out everything that goes on around me.
Don't be doing this, listening to my music. You're going to teach everyone to do it now.
So, Dave, you can do it. You can do it, Dave. Apparently, it's like a really small percentage of the population.
Really?
Do it. Yeah.
I like to be able to do it. Obviously, when you don't want to hear something, that's exactly what you do it. Yeah. Well, my one was quickly said, like, I have I'm double jointed on my hands, look.
Whoa.
Jesus. I know, mate. It's really bad, isn't it? It's really bad.
Please go.
What's going on there?
That's mental.
Anyway,
that's a horror movie.
You should have been in goal for Everton.
What?
You should have been in goal for Everton.
I know, yeah. No, the thing I said sounds quite mundane. Now I can play the trombone.
That's a good one.
Yes, I play the trombone.
Paul.
No.
Superstar DJ.
Yeah, but no, because not superstar at all.
You are in my eyes, lad.
I'm just going to say that the 13th of September is International Ball Day. So I only found this out today because I was looking at there's a day for everything. So I want to know when International Fat Bastard Ball, like moaning piece of shit day is. So I'll have to create that one myself.
Every day, isn't it?
13th of February.
All right, last one then from Warren. Can anyone do an impression of someone? I can possibly do Chris Palmer, who is Vic Reeves' character in Catterick.
Oh, go on.
So the one who talks like that and goes, I don't know, my mum's been shagging Les Dennis. That one.
That sounds like every Bob Mortimer character.
Oh, you know that I'm always fond of a Les Dennis shout in this show.
Paul?
Pete, no, let's go Pete first because I want to hear this one.
Yeah, so I can do a Peter Griffin impression, but only if you sing it, like you're like Family Guy. So I saw this thing where Seth MacFarlane was doing it on a show, and I kind of like copied it. So it's I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be a dick. But it's Stewie. Gotta let them show the true colors. True colors. Shut up, Lewis. There we go. Shut up, mate.
Impression, mailbag karaoke. It's all there.
I've got nothing, mate. Honestly, I don't want anything to compete against that.
There's no way I'm going to upstage this now, am I? No. Regardless of what I'm going to do.
Go on, Paul.
So I can do Mad, obviously from Inspector Gadget, which I proved a bit before, but also Zippy. So
Zippy.
Next time, Gadget, I promise I'll get you. Next time.
That is incredible.
Brilliant.
Did you just say Zippy off Rainbow?
No, that's Mad. Are you criticizing my impression of Zippy, right? Somebody's making all my fucking.
Oh, mate, there's some really bad stuff about Rainbow these days as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not to do with me though, mate. I was about 5.
George off Rainbow as well before the time, weren't he?
Yeah.
The whole show was. It was.
Yeah.
It was
Did you ever see the Rod, Jane, and Freddie one? Where Zippy comes in and he's eating a banana, going one skin, Christian.
Film with the twang our
Yeah.
twangers all day.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
it.
say,
That's the
mate.
same. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Bungle standing there having a wank.
Right.
Haven't seen that
We'll
one.
leave it there. Once again, Dave pushes the boundaries of taste on Mailbag.
Just because you're in Bungle's suit, that's right.
That's it, mate. Not all of me, though. Right, lads, we will leave it there. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Paul. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We will catch you next time on Mailbag.